few people understand the Congress the way Rashid Kidwai does. Mr. Kidwai, what's really going on? Swati Chaturvedi says that Rahul Gandhi heard Shashi Tharoor but wasn't receptive to his concerns. The fact that DK Shivakumar is coming under fire from inside the Congress party for sharing a stage, public stage, not some surreptitious meeting held in the shadows, a public stage with Jaggi Vasudev, who's a highly respected spiritual leader who's got a mass following. I mean, what's wrong with that? He's not meeting some terrorist, he's meeting a well-known spiritual leader.
So I think much has been made, Rahul, about all these issues. The Congress is not ideologically driven party, so therefore these things may, hurt or upset a section of the party or some individuals or so. It's not a thing where you can hold someone responsible. It comes in the category of whether it was proper on the part of Deputy Chief Minister to be going to a function to a spiritual guru whose political imprint is not with the Congress. It is more seen with the BJP, RSS, etc. So it's a thing. I don't think any Mr. DK Shivakumar can be held responsible for sharing a stage. Remember Pranab Mukherjee shared visited and was a chief guest actually at a RSS function, but that didn't mean that Pranab Mukherjee would cease to be, a Congress person or someone, who understood the Congress ideology, policies and programs. Coming back to, I think, Shashi Tharoor, I think much has been made out to be as if Shashi Tharoor is a victim. Shashi Tharoor is a player. Rahul, just to give you a contrarian thing, when he was brought in Parliament in Indian politics, remember Kerala Congress unit is very hierarchy driven, and he was made lateral entry, given Lok Sabha ticket, much the in-house sort of anger and disquiet. I remember people like Tom Vadakan and all at that point of time were hugely upset. Then of course he was made minister, and for him to become a leader or to speak on an issue, it is his call. He, in 2019 at least, he could have contested a contest in CPP by fighting. I remember telling informally some people at that point of time in Congress that why don't you fight election, force a contest in CPP. They didn't. Then of course Shashi Tharoor forced a contest in the context of a presidential election where he fought against Mallikarjun Kharge. So there is a degree of politics is there, but I don't think in nutshell this Tharoor versus, so to say, Rahul Gandhi or Congress is going to lead to some kind of purging or exit or
no, but it creates, it's not about a purge. This is not a Soviet republic. I mean, this is about respecting and valuing those who add to your table. Shashi Tharoor is an intellectual giant. He is extremely well spoken. He's the kind of public intellectual you don't have too many of in Indian politics, full stop, and very few in the Congress. And therefore, when you have them, I mean, it's the analogy that Sanjay Jha made. If you got Virat Kohli, you want him out batting, you don't want him in the pavilion.
Absolutely, but that is for Mr. Tharoor to decide. That is for the Congress party in Parliament to decide. We cannot decide in TV.
No, but he didn't get a chance to speak. I mean, surely on the constitution or on the budget, if somebody had asked Shashi to speak, he would have happily spoken. He wasn't given the chance.
Mr. Rahul Kanwar, are you privy to information that Shashi Tharoor was upset? He wanted to speak and he was not allowed to speak. Is that the case you are making?
No, one second. That's the point that Swati and Sanjay Jha made. I'd much rather that they speak and explain.
Of course, they are more than welcome to have that view. I would also say, just out of the 10 debates, 9 Tharoor should be speaking. But that's not how the Congress party in Parliament functions.
Okay, let Sanjay Jha respond.
Rahul, let me give you my own personal example. When I had my, fracas with the Congress, the organizer of the RSS approached me to do an interview with them, a Q&A. And I did that. And I'm the biggest critic of the RSS's ideology for India. I just believe that engagement with all types. I'm not a follower of Sadhguru at all. And I know there are all kinds of cases against him in Tamil Nadu. But can I stop anybody, political or otherwise, from loving his teachings or watching his YouTube videos? For God's sake, the Congress party has to recognize you've got to be ideologically a lot more accommodative. I agree with Rashid that the Congress doesn't have a hardcore ideology, but that's exactly the reason why you need to include as many people with diverse tastes and ideas. That's the beauty of the Congress party.
But the fact also is, there's a different way, Professor Ranganathan, of looking at this as I come to the end of this debate, that you want to reach out to those who don't agree, because many of these spiritual leaders, many of these seers, at one point in time when the Congress was in power, were not necessarily with the Congress, but sided with the Congress in different ways. You want to reach out. You've got about 20% of the vote. If you have to ever come back to power, you have to bring the others on board. By attacking constantly anybody who seems in the middle, I mean, you're harming your own case than doing it any good.
And I'll tell you a couple of points out here. Look, let's be honest out here. Shashi Tharoor has never ever gone against Congress or its ideology. All he does from time to time, for whatever motivation it might be or not be, he praises the quote-unquote opponent. And that is why the problem happens, because the dynasty and the doormats, they expect complete and total and utter subservience. And let's not go overboard out here. Shashi Tharoor is a decent speaker, but I'm sorry, to call him an intellectual giant, I mean, he's as vacuous as Sanjay Jha in many of the arguments. For example, he says that Congress upholds free speech. Pandit Nehru upheld free speech. I mean, the man doesn't know his history. He's brainwashed. He was supporting, the repeal of the farm laws when Congress itself was promising the farm laws. I mean, he's been wrong so many times. He's lied so many times. He's a politician, so I don't mind it. But to call him an intellectual giant, I'm sorry, that's going overboard. But as far as Congress is concerned, yes, he is a giant among minnows in the Congress party.
A lot of this is relative, Professor Ranganathan. You're a giant relative to everybody else in the army. I mean, so that's also a fact. So, but I'm now running out of time. So I want final words from Swati. She's got this wry smile on her face. You've heard what Rashid Kidwai is saying. He's saying, you know, has Shashi told you that he wanted to speak and didn't get to speak? Respond to that, Swati. You're on mute, I think.
Obviously, I'm not going to be breaking confidential sources, but yes, I can safely tell you that yes, he did want to speak. Yes, he did meet Rahul Gandhi, and till date, somebody very, very close to him says that he's right now in the Congress only to spite all those leaders who actually want him out. He's being pushed out. He's being made to feel that he's very much in the cold. He's not wanted.
Rashid Kidwai, and that's what you don't want. You don't want people who think like you, who subscribe to your point of view, feeling left out. And this has happened to so many people, from Jyotiraditya Scindia to Jatin Prasad, RPN Singh. There's a long list of those who at one point in time were close to the family and then just for various reasons were forced out or left on their own.
So I think, Rahul, it's a debatable point, but the fact of the matter is, if you're not, getting your due in a political party, the ideology you subscribe, you don't go and join the, so to say, the enemy camp. So therefore, I think there is a great merit in what Swati is saying, that he is staying in Congress as of now, and he will, in my understanding, will continue to, because he doesn't want to go and join, politically speaking, to the enemy camp. And therefore, there is a, only option for him is to, start a regional outfit or, form a bloc. And he has a lot of support base, not only in the Nair community, but IUML and several other outfits in Kerala would support him. So you have UDF, LDF, BJP, and you have a Tharoor bloc. But then you need money, you need symbol, you need, in terms of election commission can only give you a symbol 6 months before elections. And it becomes very difficult for a new political party or new political group to come. So there are a lot of practical problems. I think Mr. Tharoor, among other things, he may be intellectual giant or not, but he's a very pragmatic person. He's a politician among politicians, and he will make a judicious call.
Okay, but the fact is, just try and welcome those you have, rather than chase them out, hound them, attack them. That's not nice. You heard from our panelists, as always on the news track. I don't tell you what to think. You've heard the panelists. You decide who you think has the more compelling argument. Professor